June 4th, 1943, the pencil trembles in his hand. If his own officers found these words, it would mean a firing squad. Through the train window he had just witnessed the impossible, an entire city blazing with light. In Germany, there were blackout curtains and darkness. Here, in what they were told was a collapsed nation. Electricity flowed like water. This is the story of how America defeated Nazi ideology not just with bullets, but with a weapon they never saw coming, the overwhelming, undeniable truth of its own abundance.
Some 850 of Rommel's best veterans stepped onto the platform in Mexia, Texas. They expected barbed wire and brutality. They found a passenger train with dining cars and apologetic guards. The first crack in the facade, food, white bread, real coffee, meat twice a day. They thought it was a trick, a propaganda show to be filmed and then taken away. They didn't know this was the standard American ration for their own soldiers. The demolition of their reality had begun. For 3 days, the trains rolled west, and outside their windows they saw an America that, according to their propaganda, couldn't exist. They saw endless electric lights in every small town, even in the vast, empty landscapes of Texas and Oklahoma. They passed massive factory complexes at night, glowing like constellations on the horizon. They saw a farmer's son driving a brand new tractor, something reserved for state officials back home. They saw parking lots filled with workers' personal cars, not bicycles. They saw a crane operator casually eating a thick meat sandwich, a luxury beyond comprehension. They saw workers wearing sturdy leather boots that would have cost a German laborer 2 months' wages. They saw individual farms with more electrical power than entire German villages. Most shockingly, they saw food being thrown away that would have been a feast back home. A proud Prussian officer staring out the window at a simple American cargo ship equipped with advanced radar slowly removed his cap. It was a silent gesture of utter defeat. He later wrote in his diary, "It was then I first suspected that Germany had already lost the war." The sheer scale of American production wasn't just intimidating, it was demoralizing. It was a rolling lesson in industrial power that no amount of propaganda could counter. The camps themselves were the final argument. They arrived at places like Camp Hearn, Texas. These weren't grim prisons, but orderly barracks with electric lights and running water, flush toilets, hot showers. Things that were luxuries for civilians back in Germany were standard issue for prisoners in America. The camp hospital was stocked with penicillin, a miracle drug most German doctors had only read about in medical journals. Imagine being a German doctor, seeing this medicine used freely on your captured countrymen, your worldview shattering with every vial. Then they were put to work in American fields and factories, and there they witnessed the true engine of Allied victory firsthand. They saw B-24 Liberator bombers rolling off the assembly line at the Willow Run plant, one every 63 minutes. They saw the Ford River Rouge plant, a sprawling city within a city, churning out the machinery of war. They saw a single combine harvester doing the work of 100 men, swallowing a field of wheat in an afternoon. Women, teenagers, and older men were outproducing Germany's entire war economy, which was running on slave labor and conscripted workers. The cold, hard mathematics of victory were no longer in doubt. The question shifted from how can we win to what were we even fighting for? Then came the most devastating blow of all. It wasn't a bomb or a bullet, but kindness. On Christmas 1943, American church choirs came to the camp fences and sang carols for the prisoners in German. Local Boy Scout troops delivered handmade Christmas cards. These enemies, who had been trying to kill American sons just months before, were given a Christmas feast: turkey, ham, pie, cake. The prisoners ate until they were physically sick, their bodies and minds unable to process such generosity from their captors. A grizzled German veteran, a man who had fought across North Africa, was seen wiping a tear from his eye as he listened to Silent Night. One prisoner wrote, "What kind of people treat their enemies this way? Only those who are absolutely certain of victory and completely secure in their power." The fanatical Nazis in the camps grew quiet. Their ideology, built on a foundation of lies about their own superiority and the weakness of others, had crumbled. The ideological collapse was complete. The prisoners began to study, not for propaganda, but for their future. They learned English, they studied American history and civics. They were given access to American newspapers and magazines. They watched Hollywood films that openly criticized American society, a concept unthinkable in a totalitarian state. They saw that freedom of speech and open debate didn't create weakness, but a resilient and self-correcting strength. The headlines on the camp's own German-language newspaper, printed by the prisoners themselves, tell the story. They shifted over time from slogans like "Victory is certain" to articles titled "What is democracy?" They had arrived as indoctrinated warriors of the Third Reich. They were being transformed through simple exposure to the truth into the potential architects of a new Germany. When the newsreels of the D-Day landings finally reached the camp theaters, many prisoners didn't see an Allied invasion of Europe as a defeat for their homeland. They saw it as the inevitable, logical conclusion of the industrial colossus they had been living inside for the past year. After the war, over 371,000 of these men returned to a homeland in ruins. But they didn't just carry back their duffel bags, they carried back a blueprint. They had seen a different way. Many became staunch ambassadors for democracy, engineers, businessmen and farmers who helped build the democratic West Germany that rose from the ashes to become the powerhouse of the economic miracle. They came as conquerors, believing in lies. They left as students, witnesses to an undeniable truth. Their incredible story proves that the most powerful weapon is not the ability to destroy, but the overwhelming capacity to create, and the confidence to show humanity, even to your enemies. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more hidden histories.